Welcome to Grow Your Strength, new program today. Take our time to go through it and start as I usually do with some breathing, either in the face up or face down position. It always feels good to give yourself an opportunity to focus on your breath, relaxing tension through the neck and shoulders and down into the low back and hips. Try to slow the pace of your inhale. Get it nice and deep, and then a long, slow exhale. Rolling onto your back if you're not there already. We'll just take the knees off up to over the hips, so feet off the floor, knees aligned right over your hips, both knees, and then take some time to bring your hands up to the roof. And if you were to touch the roof, you'd be kind of stretching through your shoulders. Now do the opposite of that, kind of retract and sink into your shoulders and shoulder blades. So you've got a nice strong connection through your torso. Continue to focus on the breath as you think about the cues of, is your back aligned? I don't want you to flatten your back completely, but if you do have a big arch in your back, the rib cage might be off the floor a bit. So you can just teeter the curve down a little bit. And now I've been holding myself long enough. I feel like this is enough work. So I want to bring my knees in and give to my shoulders and just give myself a hug. Okay, so I'm going to do some progressions from that reverse tabletop position. And you can see me just rolling side to side. I'm just pulling my shoulders down and kind of feeling my back out again. So here's the progression. First off, I did this one. This was hard after we held it for a while. Second, now we'll take both hands and just place the hands on your thighs, just below your kneecaps, and then just give yourself a little counter pressure. So now you've found that alignment again. Focus on a few deep breath cycles. You can give your feet a little wiggle, make sure your feet are relaxed. And then after 2 to 3 breath cycles, more if you want more of a challenge, you bring the knees in again for a reset. And the last one is just an add-on from here, where I'm going to take us back to the knee press position and then take one arm off and reach the arm overhead. You can turn your head. It's okay to integrate your neck, spreading your fingers and slowly bringing your hand back to your thigh. And there's just a light counter pressure here. So I'm still feeling very activated in my torso. And then bring the knees in. So that's a great way to start thinking about the core box and working to activate that. Okay, now for the ankle work in this program, we'll go with both legs up in the air and then a knee hug. So taking some time to extend both the knees and just gently hanging on to the legs, pushing the heels to the roof. I'm pulling my toes down to my shins and trying to open up my toes. After about 5 of these, I'll keep my legs up in the air with some gentle support and just work the ankle movements, opening up the toes, pointing the toes to the roof, trying to find that end range you can get, and then the opposite, pushing the heels to the roof, trying to get some good length to the tissues through the back side of the leg. And then we'll take it into some rolls. So soles of the feet are coming in and out. And I can do that or try to do that with different angles. And then lastly, some circles. It's big circles as you can trace. And then let's just have a quick reset again, pulling the knees in, and a little egg roll. And one more for the knees. So I'll move from the ankles up to the knees into the egg beaters. So about 10 circles. Just trying to keep my knees over my hips. Feet are relaxed. Getting some motion to the bones between my knees and my ankles as I rotate around, and then change direction. So I've got a bit of a theme going on with the ankles and the knees. And now I'm going to take us to the hips. I'm going to do side lying hip cars. And that's the acronym for controlled articular, which is joint rotation. So now we're working into the hip mobility. Try to go slow. It's a core exercise too, especially if you focus on moving just from the hip and then keep the breath going in and out nice and slow. Changing direction. Good. So a couple circles in each direction and then switch sides. I'm taking some deep breaths in and out through my nose. Did you, did you hear that? I don't know. That was a strange sound. Okay. What's next? Half kneeling. All right. Come to half kneeling. Sometimes the body makes strange sounds, and I have the mic close to my body, so maybe you're hearing my body's strange sounds. Okay, half kneeling, supporting your down knee with a pillow if you need it, leveling out the hips, and then just having your arms relaxed at your sides. Your back toe could be tucked, but it's a little harder on the knee. So keeping the back foot flat, easier. Here, a little harder. You might get a bit more of a stretch response. You want to stay tall in your posture and take some pulses forward, tracking the knee over the middle of your foot. And just giving yourself an opportunity to go about 5 times straight, and then taking the front foot onto an angle and taking about 5 reaches as you still track the knee over the midfoot. Just take some time to extend this arm up. I'm turning my head and just gently looking up, trying to get a good stretch from my knee right up through the side of my body. And I'll just do a couple more for 5, and then we'll switch sides. Good. Very nice. Okay, so lining up the half kneeling position, side 2. Let's take a moment to rock the hips and make sure you feel level. Tuck your toe if you did on side 1. As I pulse forward, I'm just getting a good stretch response in here, but I'm definitely not going into an arch through my back. Front foot out to the side. I have to admit, this feels very good this morning. Stretching. Taking time. Coming into hands and knees for some cat-cow. And place your hands and knees wide enough, a little wider than shoulders and hips, that you can give yourself lots of space to round up into flexion. Let's start at my low back and drop my spine closer to the floor as I bring myself into extension and drop the chest and pull the shoulder blades together a little bit and looking up gently, not forcing anything. Here's my low back again, starting to round up into flexion. And gently pushing the floor away, getting a little stretch between the shoulder blades, letting the head be heavy. Wherever you're at, we'll just go one more cycle through. And then I'm taking us back to half kneeling and giving us a little shoulder series just with body weight, opening the fingers, opening the elbows up to about 90 degrees. And 5 or 6 of these. And then we'll take the elbows up and bring them forward, stretch the shoulder blades together. And then as you open, you're pinching the shoulder blades. So you get a little stretch here and then a retraction. And then the last one is going to be what I call S patterns. One hand goes into the small of the back, one behind your head. And then just check your posture that you're looking straight ahead, nice and tall. And then you slowly switch this, spreading your fingers, trying to keep the elbows as open as possible. It's a bit of a challenge. Doesn't really matter how many you do. Just go slow, breathe, and just feel out how the shoulders are feeling and if there's any sound effects. As long as there's no pain, let's just try and get some motion. Motion is lotion in there. Okay, so now I'll just shake this out, switch the down knee, refine your posture, and then go back into the side fly. Elbows are at 90 degrees. Upright gaze. Forward, elbows together if you can get them, and then open up, squeeze shoulder blades together. And second round of these S patterns. Spreading the fingers, moving through this slowly. I'm going to do just one set of clamshells for the hip strength. If you'd like to do them with a band, a resistance band, then we'll put that on now. If you don't have a band or you're just starting out with us, then just go with no band. So in the sideline position, you want to make sure that your top hip is rolled forward. So if there was a light beam coming from your belly button, that would be aimed down just a little bit. The knees and feet are stacked, and try to keep the feet relaxed. As you bring the top knee up into the resistance, you're going to feel some work through the hip. You want to work the up phase and the down phase. The rep range for this one is 5, and we're going to switch. It'll be a total of 15. So working slowly because it's just 15 and we're just doing one set. Work the up, work the down. After those 5, the second round, we're going to take the knee and foot off. Again, a reminder to keep the feet relaxed. So now this is bringing the whole leg up with control and down. And then the last set of 5, we take the top leg and straighten it out. And just take a moment to make sure this top hip is rolled forward. I've moved my straight leg back towards my screens a bit, and now I'm lifting the whole leg through as much as I can activate through my hip. This is coming from the hip, not the low back. So if you feel anything in your back, your positioning probably isn't as good as it needs to be. All right, and then tension on, tension off, and then we'll switch sides. Going back to the setup and then the knee only version to start. So just tucking that bottom hip under helps a little bit to get the top hip in the right place. So there we go. Work up, work down. Mind-muscle connection, thinking about getting strong right in through what you can access through your hip. And then straight leg, toe down, walked my leg back a bit. Excellent. Okay, so we'll take the bands off and we're coming up to standing. First is what I call a little balance work. We're going to do reverse step with the option of taking it then to a high knee. So take my right leg, step back, come down to a depth I can control, and then I can tap and come to a high knee. Tap, go back to a reverse step, tap, high knee. If you wanted to, you could try to do the reverse step and come all the way through to the high knee with no tapping. About 5 of these before you switch the working leg. Remember, this is a practice and there's a lot of things going on with the balance. Okay, so as you step back, tap, high knee, or all the way through. By the time we've done the 6 weeks of this program, this will probably be feeling a lot smoother. If you're doing the tape and you feel unsteady, try and do it near a piece of furniture or something you can grab onto. Even holding a chair right here and doing this works well. Okay, second exercise, we're going to do a lateral step. So I'm still just working with my right leg. And then I tap, and then I take the right leg into a little curtsy. Okay, so again, up to 5 of these. Stepping out, get a little stretch, come back up, and then to a curtsy. So really doing a lot of change of direction for the hips, good for the balance. Nice work. Switching sides. Lateral step, tap, curtsy. Only going to a depth that you can control, that feels okay with your body. It's happening again to me this morning. Start moving and I feel better. Oh, it's amazing. I like my job. Okay, let's go to deadlift. So the next set has 4 exercises. The first one is a deadlift. In the last program, we were doing one-sided deadlifts. So I'd like to go back to a deadlift where you either have one weight in the center or you have 2 dumbbells and you're working on your hip hinge this way. The deadlift motion, the hips going back, the way your back is set when you hinge, back, hips back. This is important whether you're lifting from the floor or you're using dumbbells. So I'll show a couple different versions. Time to turn the fireplace off. It's getting a little hot. All right, so here's the dumbbell version. Inhale, hips back, and then exhale, come up and just find your posture. So find the connection through your shoulders. I'm activating my hip muscles a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Now, as I bend back, I don't want to round my back or go into a big arch, right? I'm trying for my neutral, just sliding the weights down my thighs. Hips go back to the wall behind me and up I come. The rep range is going to be 6 to 10. If you have dumbbells, I think I see both of you do, at the top, you could open your shoulders a little just to get a little bonus of some external rotation of your shoulders and pinch your shoulder blades together. If you're looking to lift off the floor, it's a little different because I come down and set, breathe in, and then come up to standing, rebreathe to protect my back, a little intra-abdominal bracing or breath. So lifting off the floor, say you were going to move something in your garage or a box, you could sit your hips back, breathe in deep, and then move it so you have that same protection. Here, we're just training to grow our strength in the best alignment possible, being aware of what's going on through the back, how things feel, get nice and tall, and then hips go back to lower that down. Good. Okay, so that's exercise 1. Nice to bring back a classic deadlift. And the exercise 2 is a chest press from the floor. So I'm taking myself to the floor with my dumbbells close by, and I'm going to go into a bridge position and press up, making sure my back and my neck feel aligned. As I press up, I can feel my posture down, like I kind of have a light connection through the back of my head, my shoulder blades, my hips, and even through my feet. Now, I get asked this question a lot. Should I have my elbows at my sides? Somewhere not at 90 degrees, but elbows a little off. That is going to be more shoulder friendly for most people. But listen to how your body feels. Having the elbows close in and pressing like this is totally fine. It's just a different angle. I'm all about changing it up, so feel free to do a few different positions with your elbows and get the work done. Okay? Chest press. And then we go to long seated band row. So taking a long stretchy band, sitting upright in posture. I think I put all my favorites in this program. All right. Get tall on the sit bones. Check the tension so that your elbows don't have to come all the way back. They just want to finish at the side waist. And then you look straight ahead, and here we go. Let's do 12. Just pulling back with the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You can have a few pulls here with your elbows close. You could take your elbows a little wider. And really feel how that changes the activation through the back of the shoulders. Okay, and then we're going to go to a press from the down knee side. So I'm taking a weight that I know I can press overhead. I'm coming to half kneeling. This is my down knee. Take my weight. How many presses did I put in there? 6 to 8. Okay, so upright posture, pressing and bringing it back down. Good. 6 feels good for me, so I'm going to switch it up. Nice and tall. We'll do a good warm up of the shoulders in this position, preparing for some load. So as I go up, I'm being mindful not to shrug, come down, just activate everything and get the weight back into the shoulder, the rack position, I call this. I turn my palm in just a little bit. As I come down, this is a good resting position. Okay. And then from here, we'll go back through these 4 exercises one more time. So that was started with the deadlift and then the chest press. Just going to grab a little water. So whether you're using the dumbbells to go down and open or from the floor up. Hips back. 6 to 10 of these. Looks great. Good. Then popping down to the floor again for the chest press. Depending on the weight of the dumbbells you have, you may find that they don't give you too much of a challenge, or maybe they do. But I definitely recommend starting with your feet on the floor. But for some clients who want a bit more of a challenge and they don't have any more weights, you could take your feet off the floor and go into that reverse tabletop position we did in the warm-up. And this is actually, I feel like, just a little bit harder for me. I almost prefer my feet on the floor because I feel I can really connect through my posture more. Like when I press up, I feel my torso muscles in the front side of my body here kind of really nicely active. So that's something to keep in mind. Six to 10 of those, 12 rows, and then to the presses, and then we'll move on. Some time to set this up. Check the tension, even on both sides. 12 pulls. Up. Good. And then pressing from the down knee. You could tuck that back toe again if you wanted a bit more stability. If you feel like you're feeling too wobbly for your press, take your front foot out just a smidge. Make this about the shoulder and keeping the posture aligned. So as you press up, you don't want to lean to the side or lean back. My hips are sort of tucked under. My rib cage feels nicely stacked. If you wanted to add breath to this move, I had a client ask me about this week, particularly as the weights get heavier. You want to be stable. So you could breathe in and then press, or breathe in on the way up and exhale down as a way of creating a stable base for which to execute the press. without those shifts. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind if you want to add breath. I'm not saying that you have to coordinate your breathing with every exercise, but when we're trying to work certain moves and do the best we can to align and not injure ourselves, I think it's a good idea to start thinking more about breath because we don't want to get injured. Okay, I'm changing up the exercises now. So that was 2 sets of that one. This is a squat and reverse lunge, 3 rounds. So I'll show you what this is going to look like. You're going to take a weight, but here's body weight, 1 squat, okay? Then adjust the feet for 1 reverse lunge per foot. And then you go back to the squat. Okay, so we're going to do that 3 times. I'm going to take my dumbbells, hold them at the shoulders, squat, get control of your back toes, pull yourself down, switch feet. Nice. Just 3 rounds, so take your time. Feel free to do extra. I don't know what that was, kind of a dippity-do. No, that was a hair gel we used in the 70s. Okay. 1 and 2. Good. Okay. Second exercise in this set, plank push-up or lowers. So coming into the floor, if you are practicing on the floor or here in an elevated surface, you know the number that you can do well. So pick that number and try to meet or beat it. You're quite welcome to take a little break. Shake out the arms, less than a 20-second break. And it's like if I just take a quick break, I can probably do 2 more or 3 more and have really good form, not run the risk of driving into my neck. In our last program, we had lowers to the floor as well as these kind of push-ups. You can always put a pillow underneath your front side and just lower yourself down if that's where you are in your strength practice. Okay, then we go to single leg bridge, and it's a lower rep range, 6 to 8 single leg bridges. One foot comes off the floor. I like to put a top arm just around my rib cage, other arm behind my thigh. So when I bridge up, I'm very mindful of the fact I'm not going too high and arching into my back. I would feel my rib cage flare if I did that. Quality reps, not too fast. Up, create that tension. Down, release. Hips nice and level. 6 to 8 reps. You got it. Switch. Nice job. If for some reason single leg bridge didn't work for you, you could certainly go with the double bridge. Both feet on the ground and lifting up like this. Okay, so if you're just starting out, this is where you're at. Okay, let's do this set again. It started with the squat and reverse lunge. We're just doing it twice. If you're doing the tape and you're feeling very energized, you could always take a pause and do a 3rd set on your own. So here's the foot position, squat, to a depth I can control, reverse lunge. Looks great. Weights down, push-ups, plank lowers, and then another set of bridges. Plank position. Spread the fingers, connect the shoulders, step back, tighten up the hips. Okay, maybe it's just a lower to the floor, to that pillow. Perhaps you want to try a little mini push-up and then just see what depth you can access. Remember that little break? That still works. Okay, and then into the single leg bridge position. Adjusting the posture, chin. I'm gonna aim for 8 this time. Tighten up the hip on the top and then release the tension down. Keep everything level. Six, 7, 8. If you've been taking my classes, you're probably thinking to yourself, she has to do the get up soon because the class is going to end soon. And you were right. So if you have the full get up in your practice, loaded, unloaded, go ahead and do one. I'm going to demonstrate a body weight get up. And I'm going to start with my left arm up, my left knee bent, anchoring in my posture, opposite arm and leg out on an angle. Chin is tucked. I take a breath in and push into my foot and easy roll to my elbow. Spread my fingers, come up to tall sitting. Adjust the hand to foot position so that you can lift weight. Okay, maybe that's all that you can do, and you go back down to the floor. From here, you come up and pull through, sitting into your hips and then finding that half kneeling position that we've been working with through this class. Back toes tucked, stand up tall. I like to focus on something so I can step back and get good control of my toes. And then I often say soft knee to land. Okay, I'm just going to spin so you can see me here. Soft knee to land. Now I open the front foot, come down to my hand, anchor in my weight between my hand and my base foot. Here's my tall sitting position. There's my elbow, no shrugging, and pulling myself back down. Now I'm going to do the other side. If you've already completed a full get up, then just do another one. And I'll just go through this side and then we'll move on. So connecting posture. I'm going to be pushing into this foot, rolling to my elbow, hand. At any point, if it's enough, then you just reverse the moves and you build on this practice like we do for the other things, like the push-ups, for example. Just keep building. Excellent. Okay, so feel free to pause the tape and do more get-up practice. And to finish off, we're going to go with fast feet. So a little bit of cardio for 30 seconds, and then some extension reaches, and then we'll grab some weights for some arm work. Okay, so what I mean by fast feet is just something like this. If you wanted to make it more of a march, you could do this. Getting some reciprocal arm action. 15 more seconds. If you want to pick it up, go a little faster. Stay safe, but go for it. And slowing this down, taking the feet a little wider than hip width and going into some extension reaches. So arms go back. And then as I sweep through and lift my fingers to the roof, I can bring my heels off the ground. Any pace you want, working on a little bit of balance. And we'll go for another 15 seconds. Reaching up, try to control those smaller muscles in your feet. Open up the toes, lift. And coming through your last rep, we'll go to the bicep curls. So I'm going to find a weight that I can do up to 10 bicep curls with. Connect my posture, look straight ahead. Work the up phase, work the down phase. You can see I'm turning my angles just a little bit. Go wide. Stay tall, don't collapse in through the posture. We'll let the arms hang down and do some slow shoulder circles after you've met your rep range. Bring the shoulders up and back and down and forward. And then after a few of those, switch direction. And then for the triceps, take yourself into a slight hinge position. And now you're working, extending the elbows and kicking those weights back. Try to match your bicep curl range. It's up to 10. Hanging on to the weights if you feel like you can for 1, 2, 3 and a little stomp. So working on creating some connection with the floor, some ground force reaction. Feel that right through the bones. Have a little extra load, so it's good for bone density. Fifteen more seconds. Coming into your last rep. All right, we'll just carefully put the weights down. And let's finish with one more cardio. I'll go back to the fast feet. And here we go. So 30 seconds. Picking it up if you can. Keep that focus. Looking good, 10 seconds to go. Slowing this down and just taking it into some slow cross-body taps as your heart rate comes down. I want to thank you for growing your strength with me. 2025, this will be the last tape of the year for me. And I've really appreciated your support and I've enjoyed watching you grow your strength. I hope that you have good, happy holidays and that I see you again in the new year.